The book of Leviticus, the third book of the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament, primarily deals with laws and rituals that were given to the Israelites after their exodus from Egypt. These laws were meant to guide their worship, moral behavior, and communal life, ensuring that they remained holy as God's chosen people. Below is a detailed summary of its contents. Sacrificial laws, chapters 1 to 7. These chapters outline various types of sacrifices that the Israelites were required to offer to God. Burnt offerings, chapter 1, complete animal sacrifices as an act of worship and atonement for sins. Grain offerings, chapter 2, offerings of grain, oil, and frankincense symbolizing gratitude to God. Peace offerings, chapter 3, sacrifices for thanksgiving or fellowship with God. Sin offerings, chapter 4, sacrifices for unintentional sins, focusing on purification. Guilt offerings, chapter 5, sacrifices to atone for specific acts of wrongdoing. Regulations for priests, chapters 6 to 7, detailed instructions on how priests should carry out these sacrifices. 2. Priesthood and consecration, chapters 8 to 10. These chapters describe the consecration of Aaron and his sons as priests, the rituals for their ordination, and the responsibilities they bear in mediating between God and the people. It also includes the tragic story of Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, who were killed by divine fire for offering unauthorized incense, chapter 10. 3. Purity laws, chapters 11 to 15. Dietary laws, chapter 11. Instructions on what animals can and cannot be eaten. Clean animals, such as cows, sheep, and some birds, are permissible, while unclean animals, such as pigs and shellfish, are forbidden. Laws on childbirth, chapter 12, guidelines for purification after childbirth. Laws on skin diseases, chapters 13 to 14, detailed instructions for diagnosing and treating leprosy and other skin diseases, including purification rituals. Laws on bodily discharges, chapter 15, rules concerning bodily emissions and their effects on ritual purity. 4 Day of Atonement, chapter 16. This chapter describes the rituals of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the holiest day in the Israelite calendar. On this day, the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies to offer sacrifices and atone for the sins of the entire community. The ritual included the scapegoat, which was symbolically burdened with the people's sins and sent in the wilderness. 5. Holiness Code, chapters 17 to 26. These chapters focus on the ethical and moral conduct expected of the Israelites to maintain their holiness. Sacredness of blood. Blood is regarded as sacred because it represents life. The Israelites are prohibited from consuming blood. Sexual ethics, chapter 18. Laws prohibiting incest, adultery, homosexuality, and other practices seen as immoral in Israelite culture. Social and moral laws, chapter 19, includes commands to love one's neighbor, care for the poor, refrain from stealing and lying, and promote justice and fairness. Punishments for sin, chapter 20, penalties for breaking moral laws, especially those related to sexual immorality and idolatry. Rules for priests, chapters 21 to 22, special laws governing the conduct of priests, emphasizing their need for higher standards of purity. Festivals, chapter 23, regulations for the observance of sacred feasts and festivals, including the Sabbath, Passover, Feast of Weeks, Pentecost, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, and Feast of Tabernacles. Sabbatical year and Jubilee, chapter 25. Every 7th year, the land must rest, sabbatical year, and every 50th year, Jubilee. Slaves were to be freed and debts forgiven. Covenant blessings and curses, chapter 26. A list of blessings for obedience and curses for disobedience. If the Israelites follow God's commandments, they will prosper. If they reject them, they will face famine, disease, and exile. 6. Vows and dedications, chapter 27. The final chapter deals with vows made to God, the dedication of individuals or property to the Lord, and the process for redeeming what is vowed or consecrated. Themes of Leviticus: holiness. The central theme is that God is holy, and the Israelites must strive to be holy as well. This holiness is reflected in their worship, moral behavior, and separation from impure or unclean practices. Sacrifice. Sacrifice plays a crucial role in maintaining the relationship between God and his people, allowing for atonement and purification. Covenant relationship. Leviticus emphasizes the covenant between God and Israel. Obedience brings blessings, while disobedience brings curses, purity, and cleanliness. The laws regarding purity highlight the importance of cleanliness, both spiritually and physically, to stay in right standing with God. Leviticus, though often seen as a complex and highly ritualistic text, offers deep insights into the religious and ethical life of ancient Israel, with an emphasis on maintaining a holy relationship with God.